One afternoon in late April, my life changed forever. Normally change is something that happens slowly, like the way the snowpack melts off in the spring, or the way the lines in your face gradually gain a little bit more definition with each passing year. But I never could have imagined a change that was as profound and instantaneous as the day that my daughter was born. From that day forward, I realized that, above all else, I wanted to be a good dad. I also realized that an off-grid cabin out in the wilderness of Alaska, miles away from the nearest hospital, isn't the best place for a newborn baby and a recovering mom. So for the past month, we've been staying in town with our in-laws and feeling better about our proximity to the nearest hospital. But as we've gotten into the swing of this whole parenting thing, I was able to sneak away for one last day here at the cabin. I need to pick up all of my tools for building because I have a really fun project planned. I'm going to build a tiny cabin on wheels. Some might call it a tiny home, but it's not. It's going to be a cabin just on wheels. So me and Norm packed up and headed out here. We've also got some buttoning up to do, things to clean up, a couple repairs to make, and I was even sent with our first load of baby supplies to drop off at the cabin. For the day that we do return with our little one, we'll be ready to go with a few things. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a day of cabin life out here in Alaska. The last time I was out here, everything was still completely covered in snow, so I walked around the property to make sure everything was as it should be. Come to find out, my sauna was in serious need of some help. I really had no clue what I was doing when I built this thing, and the foundation had started to sink pretty bad. I didn't dig down and backfill with gravel or anything like that. I just put the pier blocks right on top of the ground, and over the years they've sunk really bad. And in the time that I've been gone, the support post for the porch has actually just fallen off. So I decided I'd get the high lift jack out and see if I couldn't straighten this thing out a bit.
mosquito on your nose. Oh, sorry, bud. Oh, poor buddy. It's gonna itch.
Clearly, I'd be needing to cut some new log posts for this thing by the time the snow falls next year. It's definitely not a permanent fix, but it would do for now. I realized my error in building this was not having the load-bearing wall supported by a beam. I'm so used to having my load-bearing walls on the side, but with a shed-style roof, they're in the front and the back. Oh well, live and learn. They really just don't make stuff like they used to. This four-wheeler is 35 years old, and it's been sitting underneath 5 feet of snow all winter long, not being touched, and it fired right up, first try.
For a ride, Norm?
One of my favorite things about this time of year is that my pond supports a huge population of wood frogs, which is pretty rare in Alaska, and in the spring their croaking can be almost deafeningly loud. It's a beautiful sound, and I love to sit there and listen to them. However, they're easily spooked, so by the time I got down to the water they had all got completely silent. So I thought I'd take a seat and just wait for them to start back up. After about 20 minutes of sitting around staring through the binoculars, Norm started to look at me like, what are we even doing here? They didn't start croaking again, so I decided I'd go get my banjo and see if I couldn't play them a little music to get them to sing back a little bit. It's worth a shot. While I sat there at the edge of the pond and played my banjo, I couldn't help but think about the immense and incredible beauty that I was surrounded by out here, and how excited I am to share it with my daughter. To get to teach her about all the different animals and plants, take her fishing and start campfires, the first time she'll get to see snow, or roast a marshmallow over the fire. I'm lucky enough to have known true happiness in my life, but all those times pale in comparison to the joy of becoming a dad. Even when you're running on 20 minutes of sleep, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you've already changed 3 diapers in the last hour. You take one look at that little girl's eyes, and it's all worth it. I thought I knew what love was. I had no idea. While I was finishing dinner, I noticed something. The frogs had started croaking again. But this time I'd be careful not to get too close and scare them away like I did earlier. Not only were the frogs croaking, but I even spotted a muskrat swimming around at the pond's edge. I wonder if he eats the frogs. The next morning, while I was sitting on the porch drinking coffee, I spotted that little muskrat again. Since I've seen him twice now, I figured I ought to give him a name. So I settled on Marvin the Muskrat, but most people just call him Marv. One of the most important pieces of knowledge you need for backcountry living is how to properly clean a cast iron skillet. You see, you can't just go guns a-blazing with Dawn dish detergent and expect it to have any kind of patina on it. So I wanted to take a second to show you guys how I do it. First, you get all the big chunks of whatever you had cooking in there out, and then put a little bit of water in the bottom of it, just enough to cover the base. Put it back on the burner or the wood stove, whatever you're using, and let that water boil, and then let it continue to boil for about 2 or 3 minutes. Once it's done boiling, take it back over to the sink, swirl it around, and dump that water back out. Then simply take a paper towel and wipe it clean. If your skillet's really dirty, a good trick is to use rock salt to help scrape up all the food that's in there without ruining your patina. After you're done, you can add a little bit of olive oil or whatever kind of oil you have in the kitchen to give it a nice shine. I want to take a quick second to remind you that all the music from my channel is available for download on my website at alaskacabinadventures.com. With the cabin all cleaned up and tidy, it was time to head out to the tool shed and pack up what I'd need for my next building project. Like I said, this little tiny cabin on wheels is going to be a really fun thing to do, and I think you guys will really enjoy the next couple episodes. I have never done anything like this, just like all the things that I do in life, and so it'll be a learning experience, but one that I'm looking forward to. on, Norm. Come on, let's go. Load up, bud. Load up. All right, let's go. Come on, load up. I have to say I had some mixed emotions about leaving. On the one hand, I was already looking forward to getting back and seeing the family. But on the other, I was definitely sad to leave the cabin. I don't know when the next time I'll be back here is. Hopefully it won't be too long, but time will tell. But in the meantime, I hope you guys stick with me. While the scenery might be different in my next couple episodes, it'll be the same old me doing my same old thing, building cabins. If you guys want to help support the adventure, please visit my website at alaskacabinadventures.com. You can download the music or get yourself a t-shirt, or just donate if you're feeling generous. Thanks again to each and every one of my viewers, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.